I'm a pit bull, and I approve this message.
Conversations with a pit bull.
Hello. How are you? How are you? It is Friday morning at our new time, 9 o'clock in the morning. Conversations with a pit bull is here. And here's our say good morning to our sponsor and wake up coffee drink, Pit Bull Energy Drink. Well, welcome. Today we have something exciting. It's got a twofold show. First of all, it's 9 o'clock, change from our 11 o'clock time. We'll be going back to 11 o'clock next week. The whole throw change-up thing has Danny thrown off, so he is on his way. He's stuck in Los Angeles traffic, and if you've ever been to L.A., you know what that's like, so we hope he gets here. All right, but something exciting for the first time. We have a co-host in the studio with us today who's sitting in for Danny, and actually we have two co-hosts. One of them is a little more beautiful than the other, but, you know, we won't hold that against him. All right, so let me introduce, without any further ado, our really beautiful co-host, Beauty, the pit bull baby. Okay, Beauty, as you can see, has got a little one shorter leg than the other, and hopefully she'll be talking to us today. You going to talk to us, Beauty? I don't know. She's with her dad, EJ, from EJ's Rescue.
Hello.
Hey. Now, EJ is driven in from way out in the desert to be here today, and we so appreciate it. So, yeah, we're going to talk to EJ before I go to Fred. How about that? EJ, welcome, man.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. And you brought Beauty with you, huh?
Yeah, this is Beauty. She's from the ANZA.
Yeah. Tell us real quick about Beauty, and then because we're gonna get in. I'm giving the whole show today because what EJ is doing with his organization and his work is more than commendable, and so it's a lot of stuff going on that I felt like the audience need to know about. Paula Archer's been, telling me about EJ's work for a while, and we were finally able to get him in here. So, EJ, what's Beauty's story?
Beauty is one of the dogs that was 40-plus animals that we took off the ANZA property. Mm-hmm. And her leg, we had to have a leg removed. It was abscesses, and dog didn't think it was going to work out keeping the leg on. It was really hurting her. She was in a lot of pain. So as you can see, she's recovering really well. She's been talking to you right now.
I know.
Making a few little piggy noises.
Yeah, that's right. She's getting there, and she feels the love. Now, do we know what happened to her?
Apparently, it was just a bad break at first, and it was supposed to be getting fixed, and it never got fixed. And so the longer it went on, there was an abscess that formed in the legs. There's 2 abscesses. When the doctor seen it, he just said, it's got to come off. She's in a lot of pain because it was dragging. So as she's walking, it's dragging. And, this was, 4 or 5 weeks ago. And she's just doing awesome.
Mm-hmm. I feel the same way. That's how I felt when that caught me.
Well, you got the touch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She can feel the love, man. She's like, hey, he got a pit bull. He know how to touch me, huh? So tell us about EJ Rescue.
EJ Rescue started about, I was going for about 7 years, and it's called EJ Rescue because it's English John. Mm-hmm. So everyone was saying, where in Ireland are you from? And I said, well, all right, we'll just call it English John. Everyone will know English John instead of Irish John. So it started from there. I found 2 dogs running around. One was a Saint Bernard, mm-hmm. and one was a chow mix called Shaggy, who I still have Shaggy. Well, I called a lot of rescues up. Now, what I know now is a lot different from what I knew then. And I called the St. Bernard rescues and saying, you know, I've got this St. Bernard, can you take him? Well, they were saying, no, we've got no space. I was going, what do you mean you got no space? You're the rescue. I just didn't get it. Right. I honestly didn't get it. You know, they had no room. So I just said, well, all right, I'll try. I knew one thing, that if I took it to the shelter, it was dead. Yeah. So I kept it out of the shelter. Landlord didn't want no dogs. And so basically, like any other rescuer who's done this before, they hid the dogs. And then I phoned a woman up in Arizona, Connie Tedford. And she said, if you get that dog up here now, I will take it. So I drove up there straight in the middle of the night, dropped the dog off. She was going to a show, mm-hmm. and she was showing her dogs. And it was, the rest is history. She said, we need people like you. And then Melissa Basilar of the PP Foundation, she said to me, because she got me in touch with Connie, mm-hmm. and she said, John, we need people like you. So I started doing it, and then, you know, made me mistakes along the way, you know, getting a lot of dogs and trying to save every dog, but it doesn't happen like that. That's not a rescue. I've found that out now, you know. Yeah. That's the early days, you know. Right. And I've learned from my mistakes, you know. I've made them and I've learned from my mistakes. Mm-hmm. And this is what we learn every day. Yeah.
So, so tell us, let's get into what you're doing, what you've been doing lately. What have you discovered that where there's problems in the community, in the dog world, and what's going on from your perspective?
I think a lot of Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
It's been awesome for, you know, an awesome tool to rescue the dogs. Mm-hmm. But what's been happening now over the years as the years progressed, because it was all exciting on Facebook, let's get these dogs rescued. A lot of money getting put on the dogs, $2,000 a dog. And these rescues, anywhere, not just out of state, have been taking them, thinking they can place these guys in like a week. And they're stuck with these guys. And all of a sudden, now they've got 10 pit bulls to pact with them. Mm-hmm. And, you know, once again, it's the pit bulls that suffer. Right. So I think what we're finding out now is that we've been shipping these dogs out of state, and we're finding out that these dogs are just ending up in kennels. Well, crates, actually.
Wait a minute. So you're saying people are raising money on the dogs, and the dogs are, like, turn up missing or getting sent to shelters anyway?
Yeah.
From one shelter to another.
We're finding out now there's sort of like, basically, I've called it an apocalypse, to be truthful with you, because of it's just imploding. Oh, we got to go into this more. But I'm going to talk to our engineer, Chris, about going to a commercial for a minute and pay a couple of bills, and we'll be back and get more from EJ, because this is ugly.
You're watching Conversations with a Pit Bull Live, a show about dogs, the people that love them, and real issues. Brought to you by Pit Bull Energy Drink. Available in a wide variety of flavors, guaranteed no aftertaste. CWAPB Live will be right back after this dog fact of the day.
The best dog to reportedly attract a date is a golden retriever. The worst is a pit bull. Please support your local rescue groups. They do more to support your community than any others.
You're watching Conversations with a Pit Bull Live, a show about dogs, the people that love them, and real issues. Brought to you by Pit Bull Energy Drink. Available in a wide variety of flavors, guaranteed no aftertaste. CWAPB Live will be right back after this dog fact of the day.
Dogs are about as smart as a 2 or 3-year-old child. This means they can understand about 150 to 200 words. including signals and hand movements with the same meaning as words. Please support your local rescue groups. They do more to support your community than any others.
Hey, are you tired of those same old energy drinks with bad taste? Make a switch to Pit Bull Energy Drink with a guaranteed no aftertaste. Pit Bull offers more energy with ginseng and vitamins B6 and B12. With a ginger ale lemon lime flavor, Pit Bull meets the consumer's demand for better tasting and healthier energy products with a guaranteed no aftertaste. Make a switch to Pit Bull Energy Drink. Pit Bull offers more energy with ginseng and vitamins B6 and B12. With a ginger ale lemon lime flavor, Pit Bull meets the consumer's demand for better tasting and healthier energy products. For more information on Pit Bull energy drinks, bars, and mixes, visit their website at hiphopbev.com. That's hiphopbev.com. Online orders available at hiphopbev.com.
All right, hey, welcome back. Conversations with the Pit Bull live on the RMC on Live Network, RMC Networks. Yeah, I don't know if you guys seen the logo in a while, and I don't have my computer today also, so everybody out there, if Paula, I know you're in the chat, Rita, those guys, so don't expect me to answer today, because you know, as you do know, some of you, we're in production with our new show. Yeah, I can talk about that. Breeder X, Jack is back. So it's about time, too, for Fred Cray. He should be coming in on the Skype anytime now, and we'll talk to Fred, and then, because Fred's probably got some insight on what's going on, you know, in the world of, what do we call that, EJ?
The scale?
No.
I'm sorry.
Call what's going on, this trend or whatever with
my apocalypse,
money.
what I call my apocalypse.
Yeah.
It's what it is that a lot of people on Facebook see a dog, they put it online, and then they pledge on it. Mm-hmm. And then these pledges, they've started hitting like $1,800.
Whoa.
So, I mean, it's a lot of money, but
it's a lot of money.
In rescue, though.
What could you do with $1,800?
Give you kisses.
There you go. That's what I thought. See, he said I could lick some. He said, she said, I'm sorry. I'm so used to boy dogs. That's such a dog sexist guy. Here it is. Yeah. So anyway, go ahead, EJ.
Yeah. So what's happening is that these dogs are then getting pulled. Mm-hmm. They're going to people who really have no experience. Some people just say they want to adopt them. They've got an adopter. Well, we're finding out that once they get on transport, it's a whole different story. Right. And, you know, some of these dogs have ended up dead. I mean,
so let's break it down for a second. How, you know, as they say, let's follow the money, right?
Right, yeah.
So I see a dog that's up for, that's in a shelter, right?
Right.
Okay. So I just log on and I call myself XYZ Rescue.
Yeah.
And I say, hey, I need to pull this dog, and it costs $1,200 to get him out. And I just start getting all of the great souls and hearts and spirits out there to throw in $10, $50, $100, $70, like that.
Yeah.
And I raised $1,200.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I have them send it to...
Once the dog's out, you got a freedom photo. You get the freedom photo in the car.
Right.
And, you know, everyone's happy, everyone's cheering, happy dance, as they say, in rescue. And this fair baby's going to its forever home. But it's not the case, you know. We're finding out, as I say, these dogs are showing up dead.
So these people, is this the same people? And okay, we made some of like my new show, where some of the names have been changed to protect the guilty.
Yep.
We know who you are, and the days are limited, you know, because things are changing. But so the same people are doing this over and over.
We're finding out that there is a pattern.
Right.
There is
they're
a pattern.
Literally making a living off of dogs, off of pulling dogs, taking money from people, and then killing the dogs for the most part. Mm-hmm. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't say killing the dogs for the most part, but I would say that the dogs.
To another shelter.
Their whereabouts are unknown.
Well, see, to me,
So, you know,
that's killing the dog.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, I think the dog's turning up in a hole somewhere, or taken to another shelter where somebody doesn't know.
taking the chips out. They take the chips out of the dog.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, it's well because when you go in the shelter scans them.
Right.
So they get the chip.
So they cut
you
the
can
chip.
actually feel the chip in the
Right.
dog, and you can slice it out.
And they just, oh, my
If
God.
someone's that barbaric
Right.
to do that,
Right.
taking a chip out of a dog is no problem.
Can you believe that?
She's heard this all before.
Can you believe that? She's like, yeah, it's depressing, boss. It just makes me feel so sad because I knew some of those D-chippers. So have you personally had experience with some of these people and interacting and followed the money, so to speak, or followed the dog? And try to find out where the dog is. What do they say when you ask them? I mean, just like if I call up with the Conversations with a Pit Bull show and say, "Hi, Barbara or John from XYZ Rescue," we know that we personally, our show pledged $100 to rescue Beauty from, the Santa Ynez rescue shelter.
Right.
Okay, you guys took a picture of the dog coming out of the shelter last week, and we haven't heard any more about it. What happened? They sent me back an email and said, "Oh, she was placed in a beautiful home in Santa Monica, California." Well, can I see some pictures of the dog? I'm sorry, was that Fred? Oh, okay. Can I see pictures of the dog? I never, they stopped emailing me at that point. Is that the case?
Well, the case is that we've heard of boxes being in a home, right? And they've got a Christmas hat. Mm-hmm. They've got Easter eggs. Mm-hmm. They've got Halloween stuff in a box, all in the box together. Now, what's stopping them? Putting a hat on, taking a photograph, going over there, taking another photograph with Halloween stuff on. Is that your update?
Right. Right.
I mean, that's not good enough.
You don't see any people, and no one interacts that says, "Hey, we have that dog." So, I mean, because if I raise $1,200, and God, I wish I could raise. I have a hard time raising $12. Okay, but that's why I'm here selling Pitbull energy drink, right? Because one, it keeps us on the air, and two, you can recycle these cans. But that's another story. Okay, so I can raise $1,200 and never have to prove or show that a family has this dog ever again.
Well, they're getting to the point where it's, they're calling it transparency.
Right.
So they want people to be transparent.
That's the thing, transparency.
For instance, when I get a dog, we videotape it going to the vets, right? We'll videotape it going on transport. Now, my transport's usually, I had to drive to Canada. I do that in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Or I get on a plane. Once we get off the plane, we take photos at the airport. And then we go to receiving rescues, and then we ask them to keep us updated. But I go to all the rescues. I mean, I physically go there, yeah. And I've been going for years, and which is unusual in rescue. We actually go out for dinner, and we hang out. Yeah. That's quite a rare thing with some rescues. So
Exactly.
I've got a good rapport.
Okay. I think. Wait a minute. What? What?
You gonna talk live on telly?
I think she's saying to me, "What? Fred Cray. Fred Cray. Are you out there?"
It's Fred. Right, said Fred.
She said Fred Cray. Fred Cray. You're wrong. Wait a minute. That's Fred Cray and Danny Mason. All right. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go to commercial, and we're going to get Fred up on the screen and in the house, and we're going to get Danny up in the house. So LA traffic was good to us. All right? We'll be right back.
You're watching Conversations with a Pit Bull Live, a show about dogs, the people that love them, and real issues. Brought to you by Pit Bull Energy Drink. Available in a wide variety of flavors, guaranteed no aftertaste. CWAPB Live will be right back after this dog fact of the day.
A person standing still 300 yards away is almost invisible to a dog, but a dog can easily identify its owner standing a mile away if the owner is waving his arms. Please support your local rescue groups. They do more to support your community than any others.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I am in the house.
See there, I told you he would make it. You know, the gods of gridlock allowed him to make it to us because, you know, it just wouldn't be the same without D. Mason up in here. So, Danny, meet Beauty.
Hey, Beauty.
EJ from EJ's Rescue.
Oh, I thought they were reversed. I was look at the mug on this guy. It's straight off the runway. How you doing, EJ?
I'm all right, mate. Thank you for the compliments.
Man. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
Hey,
Beautiful dog, man.
Yeah, she is. She's
and
gorgeous.
she's beautiful. And she just got cast to be in that new web series that's coming to the world. I heard about Breeder X.
Is that why she's smiling?
Yeah.
Yes.
Look at that bug.
Yeah, she said, hey, I'm going to be on TV. A star.
That's right.
So, Danny, EJ was telling, oh, wait a minute. We got Fred Craig. Fred, we still have no audio? Okay, so you guys back in New York and Chicago and stuff, y'all been going through the whole weather thing with snow everywhere and, you know, everybody getting locked down and crashes. Well, here in Southern California, we've been going through technical difficulties. See, which is just about the same thing, because when you have technical difficulties, your whole world stops, you know. So we're just short of shutting down the schools. And all you guys who've been asking me about last week's show over and over and over are, again, technical difficulties. The gremlins of the internet and all that stuff has just prevented it from coming up yet. So we're working on that, and I'll have more news for you later on today or tomorrow. So keep checking YouTube and Facebook and stuff. So let's continue until we can get Fred up on some audio with him, because we got him, and he's not that great at hand signals. So we're going to go back to EJ. And EJ, so give me more about what you're up to right now.
Well, we're just finishing off this whole ANZA thing. Beauty's one of the last dogs to go.
Let's talk about ANZA.
Okay, ANZA was there's a rescue called Bluetopia, and I got a phone call to help take some dogs. The first lot of dogs was 20. The next lot of dogs was 11. Now, on taking the 11, I was in Canada at the time. I do a lot of rescue in Canada. And I got a phone call saying there's more dogs at the vets. And I'm like, what's going on? You know, I didn't know that they were going to arrive. So I said, okay, I'll take them, leave them at the vets. And then a gal called me and said, listen, these dogs are in danger. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, they're getting shot. So I looked into it a bit more and found out that they actually were being shot.
Being shot like gunshot?
Gunshots to the head and buried in the desert, in the ANZA desert.
Wait a minute. So
Pit bulls as well.
Well, so for you guys who just missed that, say that again.
Yeah, it was pit bulls being shot in the desert.
And so continue. And so what?
So what happened was that I went to the house and they said that they had some dogs in the freezer, chihuahuas and some pups. So I said, well, I've got to have proof.
In the freezer?
Yeah, in a freezer in a garage on a property. So I went to the house, and that was on the Saturday, and good enough, opened the freezer, and there was the dogs, dead. And one was decapitated, the chihuahua that was decapitated. Now, that had been attacked by a dog. Apparently, it was a pit bull that attacked it. Now, the reason for the pit bulls being killed is because they attacked that dog, and there was 5 pit bulls that were killed, and they were buried in the desert. And I said, I need something to go along with this, to find out what's really going on. So I met the guy that killed the dogs. He actually said he'd meet me. I said, well, okay. So we drove to the location where he'd killed the dogs, and he was late getting there. And I said, well, let's start digging. He told us the location. So we started digging. On about the 5th dig was the smell. And adjacent to the grave was another shallow grave, and that was apparently a dog that he'd shot recently, and it was cold of a night, so he just buried it in a shallow grave, and the coyotes got that.
Coyotes came and drug it out.
Drag it out, yeah.
Cool.
But as I got deeper, you know, I dug a body up, and then I took it to my vets, and we scanned it for the chip, and the chip come up. And we found out that it was Bluetopia that did take the dog.
Really?
Yeah. So we've got a rescue gone rogue.
Wow.
Basically.
Wow. And I don't want to interrupt you, but
No.
I'm just try to. Is there any laws against this kind of stuff? And again, Fred Cray, he would know. But as soon as we can get some audio, I think they're working with the board to try to get you, to try to hear you, Fred. So keep talking or saying something. I think. So continue. I'm sorry.
Well, so where we get into, as a rescuer, we think it's outright cruel and just unacceptable to do this to a dog. Whereas the law, the dog is property. And you can do what you want with your property. Now, it's not legal to shoot that dog, you know, but it's considered property, and there's a fine line. Now, I dropped the dogs off, the ones we dropped them off at the freezer in Riverside, you know. Then spoke to Riverside AC. I made the police report. Riverside called me back. I went down and seen them, and up to now, I've heard nothing back. Whatever progress is in the hands of the law. Right.
And this is like deep Riverside, out by where it turns to desert and stuff. It's not like the neighborhood communities that you guys may be thinking of, you know, or like regular, you know, neighbors to neighbors' backyard. This is a open type space, right?
Very much so, yeah. And where we went to meet was he apparently used to raise fighting roosters. And so I was, you know, there was a time when I was standing over the graves, and I thought, you know, what am I doing here? I mean, this is, you know, I'm nuts,
right,
for doing this.
Yeah.
But my main thing was the whole thing was that the dogs that were left on the property, I had to get them off,
right?
Because as you know, with the pit bulls, they never get a fair shake.
Oh no!
And 10 pit bulls getting taken by AC, doomed.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely doomed.
Right.
You know, it wouldn't be like one of them.
Yeah.
And the rescue community, I mean, we're dying.
Yeah.
We're dying out there.
Yeah.
With these dogs. And to place one pit bull in California can take a year.
Yeah.
You know, I have great success in Canada. That's why I go.
You got Fred?
Hey.
Oh, hey. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good.
Hey, man, listen, see, that's why you live in beautiful downtown, you know, Miami or the suburbs or whatever, you know, in Miami, because, you know, Chicago and New York, they get the snow and the bad weather. And L.A., we get our technical difficulties and our gremlins keeping us. And Fred's down there just living it up in La La, man.
I know it. I know it.
Yeah.
I got some good news, though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, share.
Well, we have in South Bend, Indiana, Valerie Shea, who is a councilwoman there, has completely changed the entire animal control law there, and suggested that they go to a breed neutral law.
Wow.
I actually helped her with that in terms of making sure that there's due process when they decide whether your dog is a pit bull or not. They just have the right to say, "Hey, we say it's a pit bull," and that's it. So it's funny because I was talking to I did a Skype PowerPoint, and the city attorney was there, and I said, "Well, you know, this thing doesn't meet due process," and she said, "Well, we do everything correctly here." And I said, "Well, then why not change it to make it right?" I mean, why rely on? You can't rely on good people to do good things because they'll leave. Then what? Then they go back to do whatever. So that's a great sign. The next thing that happened was Utah passed the bill to ban breed-specific legislation has passed the House. So, can you hear me?
So I was listening. I didn't want to interrupt you. I mean, hey,
That's good stuff.
in Utah, wait a minute, isn't that where you can have like 5 to 6, 7, 8, 9 wives? Right? I'm just trying to make sure I got my states all lined up together, right? So now you
So
can
Utah, HB 87 has passed the House. I think it now has to go to the Senate. It squeaked out of committee, but the fact that it's gotten this far to go breed neutral is a great thing.
That's a great thing. So, I mean, Fred, you mean I could have 4 wives and don't have to worry about my pit bull?
That's right. Well, it's kind of like Ohio. If you remember Ohio, you were allowed to have all these exotic animals.
Yeah.
Tigers, lions, and if you remember, there was a guy where all that stuff got loose one night.
Mm-hmm.
And the cops had to go in, and there's a great article on Esquire magazine about how it all happened. But then they ended up having to shoot them all because they were afraid that when it got dark, they couldn't find them.
Wow.
Somebody would get killed. So in Ohio, you couldn't have a pit bull, but you could have a lion, tiger, whatever. So there's a lot of ironic laws out there, and that's one of them. So
okay.
Also, Medford, Oregon, they had a meeting there about having breed discriminatory legislation. That was the meeting went well. It sounded like people had open minds.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of that particular the breed discriminatory legislation, things are going very well. The other news of the week, I don't remember if you remember around Christmas time there was an injured pit bull in the nativity scene that they had a picture of. Well, that dog has been rescued and is now in his forever home. There was a great Facebook post where there was a giant snow sculpture of pit bull. I don't know if you saw it, but it is huge, and it's a great. It's just so beautiful to see, a giant pit bull snow sculpture.
Yeah, and where are those pictures that everyone may go and see them?
Well, you can see them on our Facebook page, Pit Bull and Legal News Network on Facebook.
Cool.
There's also an article out there where people said that they would rather go homeless than lose their dog, give their dog up and stay in the home because they said they had to get rid of his dog. So there's that story is circulating. And I think one thing we've seen this week, which I think proves the point that the media is very discriminatory when they report dog attacks. Mm-hmm. There have been 3 very serious, a couple fatal dog attacks, not by pit bulls. And the headlines read, a dog kills infant, dog involved in attack. It never mentions the breed. So we've had a Malamute, a Collie, and a Golden Doodle this last week, all involved in some very serious and fatal attacks, and in not one of those stories was the breed of the dog mentioned.
Wow, that's a wonderful thing. So, Fred, just for a second, I want to say, due to our technical difficulties, Paula out there, understand that you probably have to call in and on the phone as well as, Skype, because our Skype is not giving sound out for some reason today. But you can guarantee as soon as the next show comes on this station and they talking about 40 ounces and rapping and yapping and dipping and sexy Dixie, the audio will be fine. But I ain't saying nothing. Don't get me started.
Well, here's the funny thing. The funny thing is that the commercials you can hear fine.
Oh,
so whoever's in charge of the commercials is like, we're getting the audio on to get our bills paid.
Yeah,
but
right.
Hey, Fred,
when it comes to the content, maybe not.
Fred, can you hear me?
I can.
I had a question. This is just a question. Like if there's a dog fight going on.
Oh yeah.
Is there not necessarily like like an organized fight, but just say like out on your street or something like that. Like what do people have a responsibility to like intervene like from a legal standpoint, you know how like sometimes if somebody's in a burning car or whatever, and like you intervene to try to help them, you may still be at fault. Like, do I guess able-bodied people have a responsibility if there's like a skirmish between dogs to do something? Or
no, I think I don't really know the law on this. I know the general law about the duty to help someone. Generally, the duty to help someone only occurs when you're the person who put that person in peril. If I push you off the end of a dock and you can't swim, I have a duty to try and rescue you. Now, if I'm just standing there on the dock and I watch you get pushed in, I don't have a duty to rescue you. Now, in a dog fight, if there's two dogs, I would say that it's murky because there's a danger. There's a danger there. It's funny you should say this because I got attacked by a black lab walking my two leash dogs last Thursday, and it was very. It's a scary thing.
You all right?
And I've also been attacked, and tried to break it up. And I've had situations where the people whose dogs involved haven't done anything but scream and yell. I think you might be able to argue that they should have gotten in there and done something with their dog. But I think the only damages you would be able to get would be if, let's say, your dog got killed, the damage done to your dog. I think it would be different if, in Florida, for example, if I sick my dog on your dog and it's an intentional act, I can get emotional distress damages for that. Not all states have that. Some states, you only get the value of the dog, the fair market value of the dog, and maybe the intrinsic value. But it's funny you should ask that because we've been talking about how to break up a dog fight for the last couple of weeks on a show, and we have a dog trainer on our show, and one of the ways is to pull the back legs up off the ground. In my case, what I do is if I have a leash dog, I pull the dog in towards me so that I'm within kicking distance, and I kick the dog in the ribs. And in my case, that works every time. The dog doesn't want to be kicked; he runs off. And in the case that with the black lab, I didn't. You can tell when a dog is getting ready to be in the red zone. In other words, he wants to fight to the death. I didn't get that feeling on this last one. But the one before that, yeah, the dog came and knocked my dog down, ripped his ear, and I was thinking about putting my hand down between, and there was no way to do that. So I kicked that dog, and that was a Dalmatian, and it ran off. So there is an urban legend out there, and I know you guys will find this funny and interesting at the same time, that if you insert your finger in a dog's butt while they're fighting, this will break up their concentration, and they'll stop for a few seconds. There have been nobody
Fred,
I know has ever done it.
Wait a minute, Fred.
Yes.
The same thing happened to me. I was.
What, you were fighting with your wife and you put your finger up your butt?
Kind of, sort of, like it was like. It's a long story, but you just.
People
okay. Yeah, it just I had a flashback when you said that, man. It was just like, oh wow, It's like, okay, well next time,
you're that limber and you can, you're not accurate with your fingers. Then
yeah, that's been the problem. The problem is, how can you get accurate? There's a fear that the dog might snap at whip around and get you. But I will tell you this: there are 3 different ways that people use to break up fights. One, I mean, if you know you're going to be there. One is a water bottle. You can squirt a dog in the face with a water bottle. And you have to keep at it. You just don't squirt it and go away. You squirt, and you move up on the dog, and the dog will back off. Another thing is a can of like a Coke can that's filled with pennies. It makes a lot of noise. You shake that, the sound.
Yeah, like
and
you
also
carrying around a Coke can full of pennies in your.
And I've also seen an air horn used.
Yeah.
Now the problem with the Coke can and the air horn is when you do that, you not only startle the dog that's started the fight, but you startle everybody else too.
Right. Well, I'll tell you this, Fred. Don't go to the dog fight. Don't if your dog is getting attacked and fighting in the front yard, forget about that spray bottle thing, because I've taken water hoses in the yard when they were fighting and stick it right in his nose, and it's not until with the water going full blast until he's just about to drown that they stop. You know?
Well, the water bottle is used not really in that way. I watched a lady who goes to shelters and lets completely strange dogs to each other play in the shelter. It's called Play for Life by Amy Sadler. And she uses these three techniques: the air bottle, the air horn, the Coke can, and the water. The water only works if you use it as they're starting to get roused.
Oh, okay.
It won't work once they're in full red mode, red zone mode. Squirting a bottle won't do any good. You're right. But what you do is when they start growling and getting a little bit, if you get up there and squirt them and get them apart and keep backing them up, then you can take one of them out and the other one will be fine.
Have you
It works. I've seen it.
Break up a dog fight, RJ?
What's that?
Have you ever had to break up a dog fight?
Oh, yeah. You know, you get them first out of the shelter, and when they get well after kennel cough, you get a different dog. So, yeah, I've had to break up a couple of fights.
Well, I'm going to make sure you guys have gloves on every time I see you, because that finger thing kind of freaked me out a little bit, Fred.
Well, I'm telling you what, we had a post on our Facebook page, and it went on for, I don't know, 50 comments, 100 comments, and that came up, 10 or 15 times.
Hey, man,
and so I asked on my show last week, we had a dog trainer on, what do you think about that? And she said, well, I see that it's there, but I haven't heard from anybody who's actually done it. So, because, if the dogs are moving around, how are you going to get, it's like aiming it. I don't know how you going to get sure you're right.
Yeah,
You'd have to have a lot of practice, and how would you get the practice?
Yeah, exactly. That's
I'm picturing Foster chasing his wife around the house with his finger in a plastic in one of those rubber gloves.
Well, no, I practice
full rubber suit. Actually,
I practice that, and it's like a fire drill. You have to do it every now and then just to just stay ready, to practice your skills and stuff. So
for the dogs.
Yeah, I started out on myself, just
on
practice, just emergency.
Well, you really have to have bad aim to miss yourself.
Yeah, but it's a start. You got to start out somewhere. And then it worked. But we'll get back to that.
Dexterity is the first thing to go when you start getting older.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. But let me, because of all our technical difficulties and stuff, as I understand it, nobody can hear us right now, but the show is being recorded, so the replay will go up on YouTube, and you guys be able to enjoy it in its entirety. So because of that, Fred, I'm going to ask you to stay with us because Paula's not going to Skype in. And I want to switch back to EJ and get your opinion on what EJ was saying. Well, were you able to hear any of that first?
No, I wasn't able to hear anything EJ said.
Okay, well.
But if you give me the gist of what he said.
The gist of it is,
go ahead and just tell him.
EJ.
Of the pledge dogs?
Can you hear him?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so what it is that people are collecting money off the... they're called the pledge dogs, and it's up to about anything from 1,600 to 2,000. And we're finding out that the dogs are showing up dead. They're collecting the money, and then when we're asking about the dogs, and it's quite the trend, dare I say it, that's going on. So
it is, and it's happened before, and it will continue happening because if the dog dies, the guy gets to keep the more money, and there's no incentive to keep the dogs alive.
Right, but Fred, what is there's no legal ramifications because, as I understand
it, legal ramifications. That's a deceptive and unfair trade business practice.
Right, because as I understand it from and EJ, you correct me or jump in at any point, but what they're doing is they find a dog in a shelter, they put up a whole post. They get people to give money for it. They go get the dog out. They take a picture when they get the dog out of the shelter and to show people that they pull the dog. Then they take the dog somewhere basically and shoot him in the head or throw him in the freezer or whatever to let him go or take him to another shelter and turn him in. They keep the $1,200 and nobody...
It's basic fraud. You're saying to someone, pay me this money and I will take the care of the dog, and then you're taking the money and not doing that. That's soliciting money under fraudulent purposes. So, there's no question that an individual donor could sue the person who's doing that. I would also go to the person who is involved in the criminal aspect of things, like the fraud division or whatever, and because the person who's doing this isn't going to have any money to pay for a civil judgment. The only thing that he'd really be able to do is go to jail. So,
okay,
I would what I would do is report the person to the fraud bureau. I'd get some witness affidavits saying I gave money to this, and then have the person say I found the dog shot, and get them to prosecute the guy.
Okay, so in theory, we could set up some sort of a conversations with a pit bull, something or another, and we work on what the name would be, Fred, and so that anyone, not that we're a clearinghouse, we just want to, and we're not investigative reporters, not yet. Well, at least I'm not. Danny is. I've heard stories, but that's a whole nother thing. Where
but his investigations are XXX.
Yeah, right, exactly. So if you donate to help pull a dog, let's say like this one that EJ's talking about. Okay, if I'm going to donate to this, then I make a donation to this rescue for this particular dog that they're raising money for. But I also, at the same time, I notify, Danny. Right. And then, so now, with that, is some sort of a third process, or somebody knows that there's an eye, somebody's watching, right? And then, Fred, if people like EJ and others out there, because I've heard so much about this, and EJ's case has been the most just dramatic, and I mean, with killing dogs and all this kind of stuff, then we could, if I work with local detectives and stuff who are working in the dog fighting and animal abuse areas with the county, is that the way that it would go, Fred, where I would be gathering, I would get the stuff that the police need to make their job?
Well, it's very interesting because you as a private citizen can do a lot of things the police can't do.
Right.
So, for example, if you broke into somebody's house and found pot, or let's say heroin,
and it might get smoked.
Well, no,
but not by me, but by the dog that I would take in with me, though. The police dogs, they don't do it, but if it's an individual citizen, like you say,
Yeah, the Fourth Amendment, the search and seizure only applies to government officials. So the point I'm making is that we have done this. Actually, this very lawsuit is being filed in. There's a donor who donated $50,000 to the Olympic Animal Sanctuary, and she is now suing the owner because he's not using that money for rescuing the dogs. And as we all know, that whole thing closed down, and all the dogs have been taken to Arizona. But what I find is that sometimes when you go to the prosecutors, they are concerned that A, they don't have the resources, or B, that they don't want. You remember a good example of this is when NBC was doing that thing with Chris Hansen when they would sting guys who were involved with young girls. Do you remember that series?
Right, to catch a predator or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That. Yeah.
Well, that was popular, and what they would do is they would cooperate with the local police. Something happened there that they stopped doing that. So what I would do if I were you is I would go to them first and say, look, what is the best way for us to give you this evidence, or is this something that you would have to do yourself in order to prosecute it?
That's a great idea, man, and I'll make that phone call like this weekend, because and just so you know, and that the reason they canceled that To Catch a Predator show, I think Danny's episode was up next, and it was like, but email me on that though. Email me, Fred. We'll talk about that. That was but it was like, wow.
No, but I think one of the issues there was entrapment. Would these guys have done this if this hadn't gone on? I mean, there's all kinds of legal reasons, and so I before I went to any kind of work, I would check with whoever's in charge of that and say, look, we're thinking about this. Is there a problem with us coming to you with this evidence, or do you need to be involved in it? Do you just want the information? I mean, and whatever they tell you, that's how it has to work.
Okay, well, I think that's a good idea because that's something I think the show.
Or you mean they, like the cops, or they?
Yes,
the cops. Yes,
whoever it is that would be. There's usually different divisions. I mean, I don't think the animal fighting guys would handle this. I think the fraud guys would handle this, but I don't know.
think
You'd have to see
it is fraud,
how
right?
it's organized. You got to talk to the right person.
Right. Well, I think what we're going to do is start the process, just make a couple of calls and find out. Because, I mean, I've heard about this before, and now it seems it's almost like it's as bad as it's become a trend. Like
people are going to get their hustle on. Like once they figure out
the
an
flipping
opportunity to flip, whatever it is, they're going to figure it out.
Yeah, like the dog flipping thing.
Just to see how egregious it is. Like, EJ was just talking about just dogs in the freezers and decapitated and, just buried in shallow graves. And, I mean, the extent to it's just hard for, I think, most, people to just process that type of evil and that type of...
this is a scam that's been going on for years. If you're on Facebook and you'll see people say, don't give any money to this guy. He's using it for his own benefit, not for the dogs. And, if you have a facility that nobody can see or get to or find out what's going on inside, there's no way to prove anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, I heard that new series, Breeder X, is dealing with that in the second season. We have to see, huh?
I think we do, and I think we have to see how shaved Breeder X really is.
Hey, I won't tell. Yep. So I think it's time for a commercial because Chris just keeps saying to me, Pitbull, Pitbull, Pitbull. And I was saying, what do you mean, pit bull? We got a pit bull over there. I got a pit bull right here. It's a 3-legged pit bull sitting here in our station today.
It's a beautiful dog.
Beautiful dog. And I mean, the personality, man.
Yeah.
She met me in the parking lot, right?
Yeah.
I was out there, and, her and EJ drove up, and it shocked me. It didn't shock me the fact that she drove up and EJ was in the passenger seat and she was driving his truck. What shocked me was when she jumped out of the driver's seat, she only had 3 legs. So I'm wondering, wow, how'd you doing that? I know she was leaning, so it's like a beautiful
what's
dog.
funny is I have a dog that's blind. I have a dog. I've seen greyhounds with 3 legs. They get along fine. Mm-hmm. They have a great quality of life. They are not embarrassed by it, or know their own limitations. They're just saying, hey, I'm living this way, and it's great.
Right. So we're going to, Fred, hold on. We're going to do this commercial, and we'll be right back.
Are you a diabetic? Need some energy? Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink is the healthiest, best-tasting energy drink around. For more information and online ordering with free shipping, please visit hiphopbev.com. Remember, Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, suitable for diabetics, great for everyone.
All right, everybody, we're back. Just trying to pay a little bills and stuff with our great sponsors, Pitbull Energy Drink. If you don't have it in your area, make sure you go visit the website and knock on some doors at your local convenience store and say you want it. It's pretty good stuff, So, RJ, I know I just walked in and we were talking a little bit about some of the really, really horrible aspects of the work and whatnot that you do. You were saying that there is a little bit of a difference with what's going on in Canada. Have you traveled to other places where you kind of could tell us a little bit about the differences that you've seen in the pit bull communities or the dog communities in general?
Well, when I go to Canada, for instance, you have the girls here, the rescuers who do the adoptions outside PetSmart.
Yeah,
it's 80 degrees. And they're lucky to get a few people.
Hey, it's California, man.
I know,
we didn't make the weather, bro.
I'm not knocking the weather. I'm just the example I'm giving you is that
the difference.
Well, you go to Canada and it's below freezing, and people are coming out in droves to adoption events. Wanting to adopt these dogs. And I'm thinking, back in California, these girls are sitting there in the lovely weather,
you gotta
and they're lucky if they get 2 adoptions a day.
Yeah.
You go to Canada, they have these awesome adoption events. They have like a red carpet, so the dogs, they're not in cages. So when they're walking the dogs on the red carpet, you can actually see them in the natural environments.
Yeah.
So I found that they just adore their animals there. I mean, the euthanasia rate is almost 0.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
In Canada?
What do you attribute that to? Do you think it's
Spay and neuter.
Yeah?
They have an awesome program, the Humane Society, which is funded by the public. It's not funded by the city. So they promote, a lot of good health.
So
it's crazy because they don't have like when they were talking about like their homicide rates among people is like very low as well. Like gun problems, all the things that we experience over here, like it's almost like the exact opposite over there. And you're like, man, you're like we can see you like from
right.
Like
Well, for instance,
in Washington.
I mean, my fiance, she said to me, we were driving not long ago, and we go to Moreno Valley Shelter, and I deal with San Diego shelter. As we were driving on the 15, she said to me, God, she goes, John, have you ever seen a dead dog in Canada on the side of the road? I said, I've never seen litter in Canada on the side of the road.
Oh, wow.
Never mind the dead dog. Because we'd seen 4 that day on the side of the road.
So you mean saying that Canadians are better?
I'm like, do they have Fat Burger? You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta step up for
check it out. We got EJ
for Team
Rescue.
USA. It is Olympic time. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Well, they're all winning in the gold right now.
I hope so, man.
The Canadians are doing
This
better.
is awesome. What is this, bro?
This is a T-shirt from EJ's Rescue.
Oh, okay.
And I just want to pump. You haven't given out your website, well, EJ's Rescue, but give us like Facebook, phone
It's
number.
all EJ Rescue.
EJ Rescue, EJ Rescue,
And
I don't know if
EJ
you can, tell the, but what it is. But it's EJ Rescue. Hey, Fred, is Fred still there? Whoops. I guess not. All right, Fred, if you're watching, or anyway, we got one of these for you. So it'll be shooting down there, and actually Fred has a T-shirt company, as a matter of fact. We have to see if he can muster up conversations with a pit bull.
Hey, your T-shirt is very popular though too, Fred. I mean, I don't switch much my shirts and stuff, but I was in like Noah's Bagels or something the other day and was rocking my Pit Bulletin Legal News shirt, and older gentleman stepped up and he was like, "Oh man, that's really cool. Like, what is it?" So, if you got 3,002 viewers, remember those 2 came from your boy out here pumping you up. So, you know what I mean?
That's right.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm always curious about how things are in other areas. In other.
We gotta go. We got to go to Canada, go up there with
It'll
EJ,
blow your
though.
mind. It'll blow your mind.
Yeah, we go with EJ because, like, he's the hookup
Nothing
up
like
there.
a chaperone, hook it up.
Yeah, I go there every week. I had to fly or drive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do the drive in 24 hours.
For this or just in general?
For the
You like
dogs.
the clubs or what?
I don't go clubbing. I'm sober.
Oh,
I just drink Pitbull.
Hey, wait a minute. With Fred, you back? Hello, Freddie. Okay, try again. It's those California gremlins, man. I'm telling you, it's technical difficulties. You guys get snow. You guys get rain. You guys get with all the other stuff, that's been happening with all of the floods and what have you. We get technical difficulties.
What are some of the things that are at least like inspirational to you right now? I know the work can sometimes be such a tough task and a high mountain to climb, but like what are some of the things that that get you excited? I know just sitting with these beautiful type of dogs, like even on a regular basis, it gives you happiness and stuff like that. But what are some of the things that you're excited about? It may be an event or somewhere you're going.
Well, one of the cool things, I was Santa at a pet store, and and I was a big Santa as well, and I'd done it, but what people done over the years, I'd brought their dogs in that I'd brought up.
Oh, wow.
So when they started coming back in, they go, EJ, do you remember? And some of them was like, I had to,
wow.
But they said some of the characteristics, and they go, remember when it done this?
Yeah.
So I'd seen these dogs, and I was, at the end of the day, it was so emotional. I mean, I couldn't even,
You know, I had to take a time out. Sorry, baby. I had to take a time out because, you know, the amount of work I've done was, I could see it. You know, once you give the dog and you get the updates, but when you physically see the dog, or I'll be in a dog park in Canada and someone come up and go, EJ, this is your dog.
Wow.
You know, and they say my dog, you know, it's theirs.
Okay. We got like 1 minute left on the show, and I don't know if we got Fred back. No, Freddie? All right, well, we love you. EJ, can you pull up the video real quick on your phone, and we can hold it up to the camera and show
Take a while.
something? Oh, it will? Okay. Well, if we get it up, we will. And Fred, we don't hear you, huh? Right, man? We're going to punch all the buttons on this board, and must be 200 of them, and trying to get you. We know you out there somewhere in technical difficulty land. But thanks for joining us today. EJ drove in with EJ's Rescue, and you got to come back, man.
Absolutely, mate.
Danny made it. Good to be here. And Beauty, hey, baby, welcome to the show. You're a regular. Come back again. And remember, guys, Breeder X should be coming to you in about a month and a half. It's a brand new show. It's going to change things up. Totally different. A new approach to animal abuse and dog fighting, rescue, and a whole bunch of things. Finally.
Before we go, just want to thank everybody that out there tuned in and watched us. Make sure to check out Foster's Animal World on YouTube so that you can see the replays of the videos. Want to thank Paula and Rita and everybody else that helps make the show come together. Our people here at RMC Studios and our good buddy
EJ, take us out.
I just want to say a big thank you to San Diego Animal Shelter, because what they do, they have pit bull playgroups. And with them having the pit bull playgroups, they've absolutely tripled how many pit bulls get out now. So they get all the pit bulls together.
Great. San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego Animal Shelter.
San Diego Animal Shelter. Danny, road trip.
That's right. We already said we're about to get a road trip on. So you guys tune in next week. You guys are watching Conversation with a Pit Bull Live, and we'll catch up with you again.
Bye. Thank you.